to be taking a break from the how to attack or how to defend series, or just breaking down strats in general. And I'm going to be showing, instead of that, Pro League VOD, and I'm going to be breaking down strats within the Pro League VOD. So if you just purely are here for strats, which I can show you guys how pros play a map, which would be very helpful if you're here to improve your team exclusively, you can skip to round when I'm going to show round 1. I'll put this in full screen so you can just like scroll through past 15 seconds and you'll be able to see one. But before I do that, I want to look out for any Pro League fans who hit the storyline of this game for a second, because Pro League isn't insanely entertaining. It can get boring if you're looking just for strats, so if you see it as entertainment and strats, it can be insanely fun and insanely incisive and teach you a lot about the game. So, these two teams are Dark Zero and Beast Coast. Beast Coast is a new, unproven team. Dark Zero has been on for a while, and they picked up recently one of the OG players, and he's been IGLing their team. Now, the Hard Breach of Dark Zero and the Hard Breach of Beast Coast have talked a lot of shit to each other in the weeks leading up, so I'm just going to play a few clips to show that.
They like personality, and he does have personality. Don't get me wrong, Yardy's fucking hilarious. Constantly, the guy makes me laugh. Do I think he's good at Siege? No. Do I think he's fucking smart at Siege? No. Do I think he's a good pickup for a team? No. Is he funny? Yeah. So I can see why people are fans of him. You don't have to be good at the game to have people like you.
I'm funny.
You just have to be funny. Yeah, and you suck.
So, Canadian, Dark Zero's IGL, just said that about this guy right here, and he just won a game, and this is his response that he gave live on the NIL stream in the response.
Is that part of the reason it was expected, or do you think you could just kind of slam those guys with Blaz too?
Wimpy's better than Blaz. Who is?
This is him talking himself up at the beginning here.
You know who else got relegated? Creators. So at the end of the day,
he's kind of an energetic guy.
You know, like come to this region. Every European player come to this region has sucked. So you know what? I don't expect Blaz to be any different.
All right. So we're going to let you go in a moment, but one last quick question for you. You have a lot of confidence, obviously. Why wouldn't you? But do you have enough confidence to give us a prediction as far as the Beast Coast scoreline for the rest of the series, rest of the stage? It's going to be 9-0? 10-0?
Nate, you know what? I think the way I'm talking, I think I'm pretty much LeBron affecting us. I know Cookie can but I don't think we're going to win a game the rest of the stage. But I will say, Troy Canadian, okay. You're next on my fraud list. Oh. You're next.
Oh, okay.
So after going on the podcast, Beast Coast said that. So there's a lot of animosity between all the players, and I just love that. It makes the game so much more entertaining. The Fabian said he hates watching people that says, "Oh, I hope you win." No, I hope you win. Because no, you fucking don't. No one does. A lot of animosity between these two teams, like I said. And they decided to go to Villa, which I don't know. BC's map pool before the game, the analysts were breaking it down a bit, but they were breaking down a completely different team's map pool that just also happened to be called BC because they were playing under the same team. But this team is closer to NAL Queens than BC, or FPL Queens than the old BC. So I don't know if that speaks to their map pool at all. So this is a pretty decent Dark Zero map, though. They beat TSM on it previously in SI when they managed to beat TSM in group stages. So at the very least, it's a good map for them. And I have watched some of this game, but I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I'm going to put the casters on, by the way, but they're going to be quieter than me, so that you can hear me over them. If you really want to hear them, you can just watch it separately, I guess. But if you don't want to hear me, you want to hear them instead, then why are you watching this VOD, to be fair? Extended setup from DZ, triple reinforcement, and one thing they're not doing is a lot of teams like to put head holes in this ball and head holes here to watch the closet jump in. They've just completely reinforced it off and decided to play a Cade, which I actually quite like. The second Cade is most likely on AV wall facing study to make it harder to breach. They seem to know BC would like to go for this take, or at least stack their utility for it and just guessed right. Which I think the second one's actually more likely, but this is the default take. Main stairs takes are more rare than this. Okay, well that's pretty much the game. They just lost gunfights around Astro. In my opinion, they maybe should have been falling off a little instead of looking for gunfights there, but obviously hindsight's 2020. If they won those gunfights, the game would have been completely different. But I do like the setup where they were playing back on their setup, and I think actually if Canadian got that opening kill in Bathroom and was able to fall off, that would have been a very winnable position. Also, one thing I like here is that they're going on 90 repel. I've seen some even Pro League teams mess that up. If you're ever going for a trophy side take where you want a clear trophy to be able to plant default, you need to repel 90 to make sure that 90 is just 10 times easier to clear with someone repelling there, versus you can actually lose rounds and not being able to take 90 if you don't do that. But this game, this round is pretty much over. Good night, sir. God damn. But this round is pretty much... What is BC doing? Pengu just said if Pamba shows up, it's party time. I kind of agree with that, as we saw in Bank earlier. That was against Morale. She's a weaker team, but still, he just popped off. If you didn't watch that, that was a nice game. DC just had a great Bank. I love the way they play Bank. So, they're once again just going from a map core setup. Oh wait, they have... 1 second. Okay, never mind. I missaw Surf. I thought he was in the library area. I was really confused there for a second. What is the... Are they contesting this? Okay, yeah, they are. It's really hard to tell where the outlines are, but I think BC's maybe clearing this in a bit of a strange way with their Astro Repel, but then they're also pushing a player solo. I don't think this player could be refragged, and he can be swung by either Pamba or Hyper. I think the idea is just to backstab as they push in Master, but it seems like... I don't think they have intel on these players, or at least like they probably know the general rooms, but they don't know exactly where they are. Oh. And the Astro player falls off. I think the positioning was weird because they're rotating off and going purely horizontal because they know they only have a minute left. And I think that they called that they weren't going to play vertical anyways. Either way, just a very awkward clear. Just people sitting on master back with no wish to push in. Still a somewhat winnable round though, because even though DZ will probably maintain vertical control throughout the round, BC is looking mostly horizontally. Not working out so far though. They're going for a memo take, but you can't really go memo only, and they don't have pantry reach, so they shouldn't be able to take into counter, so this should be a DC round just based on time. The roam core just could have been a lot cleaner, and I don't really understand what they were going for there. Maybe they had something and it just looked awkward, but or maybe I didn't see it right. But it seemed just a really disjointed take to me. Although, I guess it's kind of expected based on the players they have and how long they've been together that they wouldn't be the best at roam querying at this point. Although I think round 1 was actually really good on the roam query, really good on the DC strat. So, Dark Zero, they've made an adjustment. They switch off of the Cade, and this time they have a Warden, they have Hyper on it. Likely Hyper wanted a 1.5 and they needed a shield. I don't really think the Warden gadget's doing anything, but the 1.5 on the shield is really nice. And the shield's facing Astra because BC did a heavy Astra take last time. If you guys remember, they pushed Bathroom to Astra, so that could be a direct adjustment to counter that, or that could just be a slightly different setup. Either way, they're roaming what appears to be in a similar fashion. And it's the same site. Obviously with the shield this time, though. This time, I don't remember anyone playing on Boar Window last game, or at least the spectator didn't focus on that. So BC is making that adaptation to try to make sure the roamers can't fall back in case they wanted to. Down red. Sweater's on a heater right now, he's 5-1. Oh wow, that's oh wow, Sweater. Wow. I thought Canadian had him. Unlucky for Troy. Either way though, this is not looking good for Dark Zero right now. A minute 16, sure, but they'll probably be in position to plant soon enough as long as Slash can rotate onto 90 repel. I think he should have done that sooner because I don't know what the drone intel says, but based on the fact Surf's already pushed up this far, Slash should have known before then that he's not holding anything. Like, there's no one in any of this area because Surf's this much extended. Obviously, this has been droned like 15 seconds ago. Slash should have rotated off as soon as it was droned because now they have to waste another 10-ish seconds on getting 90. Not the biggest deal, but it could add up considering that their only issue in this round would be time. Their only potential issue. They're actually looking decent on that, though. And they really have all the control they need, especially with their study positions. They have no way to breach study wall, though, so they're likely just going to hold Pamba's run-up. Oh, that is unfortunate for Hyper. Stash. Yeah, okay, that's pretty much the round. Because they were able to take 90, and essentially BC just had the positions that they wanted, where Dark Zero was forced to swing because they couldn't play in study because of the players playing outside study. Pamba can't push them into study. They really have no way of denying a default plant. I mean, smoke, sure, but they know that they have to peek and prevent any kind of entry. And then they failed to do so. I actually think maybe smoke could have denied that, but either way, they get pushed off their positions. And they're losing the man count on the roam every single time in Trophy. I really like BC's Trophy roam clear. I don't know why it was so much worse when they had to clear the entire third floor. I think it might be the space they had to clear. They kind of outsmarted themselves, spent too many men in too many different directions instead of just clearing one way over. But either way, solid clear on when they're attacking AB. So DC have rotated over to instead going Trophy, I believe, is the bomb. Good droning. So they're going for the AB style take on this. where essentially they're just going to push 2 in and probably go for deer through the deer double doorway, or maybe statue, but either way. They're just going to choose a site and try to flood into that site as they have breach open, and then they can either just try to plant default and hold the angles from master after they kill everyone in statue, or if they're flooding deer, they would just run deep for kills and try to get all the kills. Dark Zero also notably is contesting a lot less in the early game. They've given up early pick twice to early contesting, so they've just decided that they don't want to really do that anymore. It could also just be their setup for this site, because before it was AB, but still, it does appear that they're falling off early because they did have utility in the AV part of the map. Ooh, wow. Good night from Eclipse. God damn. I hope the bed bugs don't bite that guy, because holy shit, Eclipse just destroyed that guy. That play from Eclipse might have just saved the game, because now they have one repel on Astra. They have 30 seconds, they can't rotate, and one going up Astra stairs. This is a very one-dimensional take, in which Pamba and Eclipse should theoretically have a crossfire. Not a perfect crossfire, but it should be very difficult for these players to do anything. And once again, yep, one of these players gets one kill, and suddenly we're tied. Great shots from Eclipse to win the round, and then good discipline of them playing their positions and just pre-firing where they knew exactly the BC members had to push in from. Well played by Eclipse. So the setup, they are doing the holes on the closet this time. Before they opted not to do them, but the site was AB that time, so I guess they just play it differently depending on the site. Also, it allows for swinging a master, I guess, if BC theoretically wanted to take master only, which would be kind of strange. They can't do that anyways. Also, one thing that's interesting to me is this is the first Villa game I've watched since the attacker repick, so just looking at, like, whether this map's attacker defender favored, I don't know how much this will speak to it, because it's just one game, very, very, very small sample size. Doesn't really mean much to the overall attacker defender favoritus, but just to see how it plays out when attacker repicks open is very interesting. And I don't think these bans are like that much out of default bans, so it's not like funky bans will affect the attacker defensive win rates very much. Nice kill by Surf. That's just good drone intel by them identifying that that's clear. And he can just push up. Once again, Dark Zero kind of giving up opening picks on their roam. And while there are a minute 10 seconds, that should be plenty of time for BC to execute. Oh, what? My bad. I missed that. I don't know where those two kills were from. So NJR is... Okay, he gets the kill through the vertical hole. Canadian. I believe he might have killed someone trying to jump in mud, but the spectator, it's really hard to see what happened there. But either way, it's a 3v3, and in my opinion, if he was... I think he was trying... No, did he just break the mud barricade? I don't know exactly what happened there. But now... Oh, okay, never mind. BC still have a good chance of winning this round. But they are kind of both funneling and through dining, and I believe the players are aware of this, but they actually have no way of denying this plant. Nice shot. Nice shot. Wow. What a clutch from Sweater. I like them going into plant so that Sweater could just play back with the LMG and just use his gun skill to get both the kills, where they would just have to run at him and he'd get advantageous gunfights, but he'd have to win 2 of them. And I think that's the best thing you can do in that situation where time was running down. Just make sure that he gets both the gunfights, you get your best player in position to win those. Theoretically, Dark Zero could have double swung them, but it's much easier said than done, especially on that kind of thing. And I think they attempted to, where the Malusi banged through the soft wall as the Cade swung, but Malusi unable to pick up the kill. Gun's kind of a B. I really like seeing Library played, by the way. I think it's a kind of underrated bomb site, especially considering a lot of teams, especially maybe a newer team like Beast Coast, would know how to attack it. If you ever watch SSG on Villa, they're big adapters of this site. I believe they played a match point against, like, I forget who it was against, but they opted to go on an overtime match point round 15, and this was the site they decided to go. A lot of faith from them. That's SSG, but neither of these teams. But it shows that it can be a good site if you play it right, because they're not just putting faith in anything. That they're a very structured team. I think they might have just misdrawn Canadian. I don't think Sweater knows. This is a pretty good setup, and if they don't know Canadians here, that could be really... Oh, but Canadians giving up. I think if he's falling off, maybe he could, like, bait shots a little just so the 90 player could get a little more space to play in, but... Probably. Oh, no, never mind. He's coming back up red. Maybe he shouldn't have paid his shots then. I didn't know he was going to do that. He's playing a very lurky role right now. Oh. They're rotating. They're going to hit mud. Dark Zero seems somewhat aware of this, and they should have vertical holes to stop the push in now. Although it will probably come down to whether Sweater can kill the, or just BC in general can kill the site players. But this round, at least tactically, doesn't appear to be in BC's favor, because if that's what they wanted to do, they wanted to quickly rush in, they actually have to do that quickly, because now when they wait, like they open up all the angles they want, and then they wait, and then they plant. Oh wow, this might be an oversight from DC. But what I was saying is they give DC the opportunity to get all the best angles they can to stop this kind of take. And then, wait, did Amaru just do what I think she just did? How did Amaru get in position to plant there? Because I know of a way where Amaru could have gotten up there, but if so... They've been watching too much old Reaper Ian. Yeah, I don't know why else Amaru would have bomb. So what I think happened, and why the real strat, they were baiting that they were going to take vertical. He stashed one in basement. He Amaru'd up the hatch. And the idea was that the people who could just hold from back, so also saw it was an oversight now pushing in, they knew no one would hold an angle on the fucking Amaru hatch run up, because who would? And now they can just sit on their angles and wait, which is really nice from them in my opinion, and a nice play that utilizes attacker repick in a new and interesting way. Unfortunately for them though, they kind of just lose a lot of gunfights and can't properly cover the planner, allowing Dark Zero to run up and kill the planner. And now the round is essentially over. Yeah, it's a 5v1. But a great play from Slash. If you want to see the play broken down better than I can, I recommend watching the Reaper Ian video on that. But essentially, he just Amaru's a patch. The vertical holes don't watch that because they only watch in doorway. You really don't have any angles to watch the Amaru a patch for this strat, so you can get into plant, and people can just hold you from back. But like I said, they lose gunfights to ZZ on the push-up, and end up losing the round as a result of that. Nice shot from Sweater. Big Bad Canadian be taken down. He was Canadian. That's the guy that was talking shit earlier that said he didn't think this guy Drip. I'm going to call him Yardy, but he likes to be called Drip now, I guess. He had a lot of shit to say before the game. And until this point, he hasn't played well. Well, I guess we'll see if that changes. And Yardy, by the way, has done just as well as him on hard support, whereas Canadian's playing like a flex frag. But who knows? That could change. Like, I know, by the way, I've watched this part on. So Dark Zero, based on the way they're playing, they appear to be going for a main stairs take. They don't really care about trophy so much from what I see of their positioning. The two players below nading up here, they're probably just going to try to push up main and leverage that into site control, I believe is their strat. There's no shield on main. TSM likes to play a shield on main with Merc playing behind it, but BC like not to do that. They just have an ADS there with a player playing on that. I don't know how I would like that if Hyper can isolate a gunfight on that, especially considering it's only one ADS. Oh no, but they're rotating off. They decided they don't want to go for that. I think that's kind of wise, but with only a minute left, or it would be wise, but with only a minute left, I don't know how much they can do if they just decide to completely switch up their take with just a minute remaining. I get he has an ADS and he's in a decent position, but like 50 seconds and you're droning their roamers up red. I don't really understand what DC's going for here with this attack. And that's pretty much the round. I think that if they wanted to go trophy, they should have just gone trophy from the start. They could have droned it and had proper time versus where they're just rushing and they can drone out the player once and then they just have to like throw players at him and hope they go 1-for-1 and then the SMG-11 can just slam. So Yardy on the 5 and 4 on the heater on support, not heater, but +1. Big Bad Canadian even. The two shit talkers we looked at before. Also, by the way, one thing I'd like to point out about this game, not really tactically, but Beast Coast is actually winning 4-3. No one expected Beast Coast to win this game. Dark Zero is the heavy favorite going into this game. But focusing on the strategy again, Dark Zero here is going for an AB side take where they're bridging study wall to put more pressure and make sure that Sweater can't play in vault, or at least he probably doesn't want to because he doesn't want to have to peek or worry about anyone peeking him from the study back, which they can peek the front side of vault from. So he falls back into bar and they're deciding to play bar 90, which as you can see allows that position where they can both peek the box position at the same time, which they nicely get 2 kills on. Probably a mistake from DZ. Oh, but Canadian goes up red and can backstab for 2 kills. Wow. That's kind of lucky for Dark Zero, or maybe a little unlucky for BC that they just get the 2 kills and then immediately traded out back by Canadian, but nice play by him. And now bar is clear because the 2 players falling off. So I think the real play here, I don't think Canadian was supposed to go up red and get 2 kills. I think what he was trying to do, I don't know this, but I think while the other people were clearing the roam, I believe his job was to hold the roamers fallback to make sure that, because so Surf for example was in 90, he was about to fall back 90 into trophy when the pressure got too hot. So I believe Canadian's job was to make sure that he could pick up a kill as they tried to fall back to try to get DZ and man up for an execute, and then they could rotate over onto master and split take, which is the normal take you'd like to go for here. But because they go in man down, which Canadian didn't plan for, he just gets a second kill, which maybe even is better than he planned for, and they can get back on 3v3. But this also has the added benefit of isolating the last roamer, because when you kill 2 roamers, it's right now a 3v1 on this player. And sure, you can trade 1 for 1, but he has 3 people ADSing on him, and he just kind of has to guess which one's going to swing first, and he guesses wrong. And even if he guesses right, it's just a 50-50 gunfight, so obviously insanely not in his advantage. And now, BC looks like they're getting not desperate, but well, maybe even a little desperate, because you see that angle of Surf's holding. You generally don't want to hold that when you're well off. That's kind of an aggressive angle when you need a pick. And I guess they kind of do with only 50 seconds left. Or sorry, with 50 seconds left, because that's a lot of time for Dark Zero to be able to execute. So they have Canadian going up Astro Stairs, and I believe these players look like they're going to try to go deer. But the shotgun. Oh wow. 2 kills from Anthony with the shotgun. Did they know his positioning? I'm going to assume they didn't, because if they did, that's kind of poorly played from them. I think they probably... I'm going to assume that they couldn't drone that, but still, they should have had time to do that. And they have... PC has a player in, as you can see here, in Statue, but I don't think he was as well off. I think if they pinch from Statue, they might have been better off, especially because you give the Statue guy the long angle, so the Statue guy's going to hold Astro, and then you get the guy with the shotgun the close angle that can just hold the deer door, versus if you have Canadian pinch into Statue. Although I do understand, just based on the shield setup, that's a really hindsight kind of call. It's not really what you would do in the middle of a game. And also just a really nice play there. Oh wow, nice shot. But that's the ace as well. That's one of their breach. Luckily though, he's playing like the soft, the second breach. Eclipse is kind of their main breach here, so it's not that big of a deal from Dark Zero, but still a bit of an oversight. I don't know exactly where their utility was gonna go, but I assume they had a plan for those ace charges. Because Dark Zero always has a plan. A bit of an unfortunate game from Panba, yeah, but Panba's an amazing player. I love Rob. Probably bounce back in the next game, or later this game. No way he stays quiet for much longer. I really want the spectator to go back on the third floor so we can see what's happening. So it appears like they only have 2 people attempting to clear the third floor setup. That's going to be Hyper. Hyper actually falls off, so then, but I'm assuming NJR is going to fall off as well, because there's no way they try to solo clear. They're just going to go purely horizontal, probably go for a memo take, but in my opinion that's a little weak with only a minute left. Probably memo China split, but BC should have this round pretty much locked. Oh wow, never mind. NJR was able to push up. Does that give them vertical control? Can we see Astro? If they have vertical control, that might change things, because BC can't play any of the vertical angles they'd want to. And Dark Zero can get gunfights on the players in sight, maybe even push into Tetris if they have memo. And they can. Wow. Good recovery from Dark Zero. And likely, yeah, they know he's memo. this should be a wrap from DZ. Especially even if he kills the Hib on the playing Tetris angle, there's no way he'll be able to retake completely because of the player playing vertically. I believe even if he runs up Astro and gets the kill, he shouldn't have time because there's one speed and he opts not to. He's probably just going to go for a defuse and lose to that. But does he even know the positioning? He does. But it's kind of irrelevant. He probably knows that his team's probably calling out that the last guy's Sledge, but knowledge that the guy has a free kill on you doesn't really help his free kill. And a great execute from Dark Zero. Late game. The early game was obviously a little scuffed, but they recovered that round, and strong execute. And also Canadian, maybe still not a fraud. 7 and 6. Only +1 though. We'll see if you can improve that. Who knows? Oh wow. Oh wow, Sweater. That is unfortunate for Sweater. Although, I will say I don't really know what Canadian's doing here. Because I don't understand. Okay, so Dark Zero has 2 people nading below, 1 person outside study bag. Twitch is trying to drone herself into, I believe, mud. And Canadian just kind of going solo picked below. So this is like a really frag heavy AB pick, or AB attack. And I don't understand how they plan to take the map control that you need to attack AB. Their strat just kind of relies on getting some solo engagements, getting some kills, maybe getting a frag nade kill or 2. But like, I don't see how they can get the bomb down from this take, so if they can't get those engagements, I don't see how they can win. Okay, never mind. They really like late rotating onto Trophy, which in my opinion maybe isn't the best strat, because if you have 2 people roaming in Trophy and you're moving on in a minute 30, if it takes a minute to clear those people, well, you get 30 seconds to execute, but whatever, they get the angles they want. This is a really nice angle to open up because it allows a long angle from the study balk all the way into vault, so that if they wanted to plant default or plant maps, no one could run up through vault to stop them. Also, it makes sure that you're going to have someone playing here so that no one could run into study to stop them either, by virtue of having this breach open. So this is significantly more difficult, and even if you're not going for a plant, it just allows a really oppressive angle through the site. Although, okay, never mind. So Eclipse is rotating off. That means they're most likely going to plant because he has Diffuser. It looks like they're going to be playing for default here. I don't know 100% though, and Surf still has smokes. If they can waste to like 40 seconds before he can get to default, that might be an issue. Okay, never mind. Yardy gets killed by Canadian. Wow, what a fraud. Little awkward position on that plant, but bomb gets down. Yeah, just by virtue of bomb being down, they win. I think it might have been maybe a little better if they played this attack the way Empire plays it, or instead of a Eclipse having Diffuser on Breach, you could have dropped it off to Panda, for example, and Panda could have played a default instead. If you were wondering why, this would allow them to leave 2 on study box, then one could have watched main stairs like NJR was, one could have watched outside of study, so that I saw Drip pushed up, or Yardy, whatever you want to call him, pushed up to swing Canadian. Canadian won the gunfight, but it would have been a much harder gunfight from study box. But either way, nice play by them, and they could have just wanted some more overview over their flank or maybe classical hall, which is why they had the 4th person in this side of the map and not on study balk. But I just kind of prefer the version where you have 2 study balk. But either way, DZ shuts them down, and we have a 5-5. Triple reinforcement, electro claw. My bad on that. So Dark Zero is going for a steady side over clear. Once again, breaching into AB. It's clearly a play they like to do, which is quite smart. I don't know about that impact trick, but either way, they have that control. Surf? I believe they can swing surf. I don't know why Surf is so confident they can't be in books. Maybe as an overview over that through some cam. Nice kill from NJ. That leaves just Surf roaming. That drone gets him his fallback to sight, but it doesn't really matter. DZ knows that they're all in sight. Canadian's rotating for his same Astra run up that he did previously. It didn't work that round, but it could work here. Also, one thing that's maybe a little interesting. Nope, never mind. I thought they weren't going to rotate onto Master, but no. Eclipse is indeed rotating out onto Master, which is what you do, the default way of attacking this take. One thing, though, is the Electrical. He might not be able to open the punt spot. Who has defuse? Okay, Hyper has defuse. They're probably going to try to push into stat and punt in stat then, although I don't know exactly. It could depend on what Canadian wants to do. It just depends on what Canadian wants to do. He's the edge, yeah. I don't know about semi-aggressively, that's pretty aggro. I don't know what aggressively would be if that angle is semi-aggressive. Pamba gets a nice kill. Okay, so they appear to be going... Yeah, okay, never mind. They just push in stat and point default. Nice take from them. This really should be a lost round from BC. I don't know if that necessarily had to be swung because of the position they were planning. They could have just held and baited the plant versus when you're spinning into Astra. That seemed a little kill hungry to me and unnecessary. But either way, Dark Zero. The idea is that it's irrelevant since it's a 4v2, probably. Or maybe they thought it was a good play for whatever reason. But even when you're in man up, you should play very passive. Or especially when you're in man up, you should play passive. When you're in man down, you should play aggro. When you're in man down, you need the player back. When you're in man up, you need to chill and make sure that you don't throw the round by giving them 50-50 gunfights that they have a 50% chance of winning. Unfortunate for NJ. Also, one thing I find interesting here is that, well, first of all, nice kill by Sweater, but second of all, Drip and Canadian, the two shit talkers. Canadian doubles Drip's kills. Obviously, Yardy's on breach, but still. So BC just kind of contesting Dark Zero's entry on their third floor clear. They can't really get a foothold, and as a result, this is probably going to be a Beach Coast round just because they get 2 kills right off the bat. Not much you can do at that point. You lost both your entries. Or sorry, 2 of their 3 entries. Hyper's still up. But I agree with what the casters are saying. Sorry, I don't know this caster's name because he's relatively new, just replacing a Terra while he gets his visa shit worked out. But he's saying if BC just waits and hold crosses and plays patient, they should win this round, if you can't hear him properly. But yeah, BC's ready for it. Would be a good play, and I agree with them getting aggressive, but I think if you're trying to go for that kind of take, I don't know if they were able to or what, but you should probably have one pushing in China so that you can pinch the player trying to play counter, so he doesn't just slam your entire team with, like we just saw with the Alda, because he has an advantage gunfight. But if you're pushing for both China and Pantry, you can probably get like the pinch on him. But hindsight's 2020, and BC also might have had, or they did have overview over the China walk-in anyways, so that might not even have been possible. as we saw from, I believe that's Malusi's job playing in, like, Mud or something. Where, with the, sorry, with, was she playing in Library? I don't remember exactly where, but she had the Long Eagle to watch China enter anyways. Sorry, I'm skipping prep phase. I'm trying to make this as quickly as possible so I can give you guys as much information in as short as time as possible. I don't want to make this run on for like hours because I can talk so much. So if I watch prep phase and then ramble, it can just waste a lot of your time. And I do not want to waste your time. God damn it, I'm literally a fucking budget ass Reaper Ian. I'm Walmart Reaper Ian at this point. My intro is gonna start being what's up with Mickey Reaper Ian here. Ooh. Quotes from NJ. I don't know why BC loves repelling on Aster so much, especially early game when they're not really, like, they're withholding NJ's movement, true, but they're not putting any other pressure for him, so he can just kind of chill, and the player playing on repel is not really doing that much. So I don't 100% know what Yardy's idea is there. But maybe he just wants to be in that for late game when they execute, and he doesn't want to make the noise of getting on. I don't know. Maybe just praying for an early pick because someone swings him. So they have, this is a very one-sided take, as you can see. They have all 5 players outside of Master Brow, so they're really just going to hope to push in, maybe push into Astro, but probably just going to push into Stat and take default. Maybe Astro as well. We'll see. But Hyper's position is really good, playing close bricks, and I was going to say DC have a positional advantage, but they just killed Hyper, who had the best position, so actually this round's kind of BC favored. A little. But no. The trades come back in for Dark Zero. Just a lot of gunfights. When you breach, it's such a horizontal take. And in my opinion, it's kind of a bad take where you should be doing something else. You should be opening up a second angle, either if you're going to take below and push up Aster stairs and nade the Aster table, or you're going to enter AB, because if you're just pushing one angle, the people can just, the defense can just stay back and hold pixel angles and pre-fire your run into sight. And they really don't have to worry about much else. The BC's not really nading to players playing in Deer. The only important player they killed was Bricks, which was an influential kill, but still not really in position to be able to execute. And this should be a Dark Zero round. Good round from Dark Zero. Also, one thing that I find maybe a little interesting is that both teams have chosen the trophy stat objective in their overtime, and either team could choose any site they want. So that means they're seeing something on statue they really like. I think maybe DZ chose that because they think the BC way of attacking that site's kind of bad, where they just breach Master and try to purely push in through Master Breach without applying much pressure in other areas. But either way, that DZ round. Yardy showing up his shit talk with the 6 and 9, looking nice. And the fraud Canadian can barely hold 13 and 8. That's not a sex number. He's fucking shit. He's washed. Can't even hold down 420 kills to get the 6 number, as expected from a player that won SA twice. Maybe Pengu, the back-to-back winner, could get 420 within this game. The Mickey-ass stat line from him. So Dark Zero are once again pushing below. They're probably going to go for an Astro take here, and they're probably going to send NJ or possibly Pamba to push up the Astro stairs after nading from below. And then they also breach into Master, and then they just push Stat once they get control of Astro, because when you're in Astro, the defense really doesn't have many positions they can play in Stat, because the Bricks guy feels pressured. So he's probably going to just swing Master, you can pick up the kill. Once you have Bricks, Stat is relatively easy to take. But we'll see. And yeah, as I'm so sorry, I don't know your name, Caster. You're making some good analysis, especially for just filling in. But yeah, there's no room for BC. So BC are just gonna try to kind of wait here on Dark Zero, because they know Dark Zero only have 50 seconds. And actually, this roam from Yardy, the GOAT, on the second number, very humorous by the way, might actually win them the round, because I don't think Dark Zero is aware. They only have 40 seconds, so whatever NJ is gonna do. Oh, he is aware. Oh, unfortunate from NJ. Wow, that was really unlucky from him. Because now he only has 30 seconds, so he can't really push up Astro, so it's just going to be the 3 players in Master. They have no Astro present, are just going to have to push in and try to take gunfights on the people playing backside, which is going to be the people in Deer and Bricks that they have a Bricks player's favor, which is unfortunate for Dark Zero. Especially considering that they do have a clash, so that, yeah, these positions for BC, there's really not much Dark Zero can do against them. Oh, never mind. They're able to rotate 2 players up red. I didn't know they had a drone on that. But they should still have this to time, BC. Yeah. Good. Nice clutch from Sweater. Very unfortunate from NJR actually nading himself. Kind of just a chaotic round because DZ waited so long. I don't know exactly what they were doing on Master, but below the kind of Yardy's roam presence flank really stalled the Sledge. They could have been waiting on Sledge to execute. I don't know exactly what. Yeah, like Pengu's. That's a bit of an ironic thing. Either you win or you lose. Yardy on Twitter would disagree with that. Yardy was saying, "Oh, we've been together for like a few months and we beat an we got to round 15 versus an established team," which is just beautiful. I know he would not be saying that about Dark Zero. That round 15 is an accomplishment if you lost. Anyways, back on the round, Dark Zero also round 15. Like I was saying about the library objective, is that they choose to go it in round 15 situations when everything is on the line. It proves how strong that they believe it is, and they only go it after trophy. Okay, I don't... Oh, wow. In my opinion, kind of a bad clear, especially considering... I'm going to go back a second. So they know he doesn't have any ADS because they just cleared that to be able to... Actually, no, Surf has no nades. I wonder where Surf used his nade. But either way, having the lack of nades means that they can't... Actually, Sweater has one nade, but now he's dead. So now they're officially out of nades, and so the player on main says they just need to run up and take gunfights on, but in my opinion it was a mistake to swing at this time. He probably didn't want to push in this deep into main, and probably just got trapped and wanted to move up and take a gunfight because he felt trapped, but if you're pushing up and trying to take that gunfight on the main, your study player should be in position to refrag you, so I don't know exactly why they weren't. But it just causes them to kind of throw this round. Obviously, insane play from Panbot. I'm not trying to take away from him. That was insane mechanics, but I think BC definitely could have gone 1-for-1 there on the trade. Or for a trade. My bad, Anthony had a nade. I don't know where he was there. Yeah, BC there just kind of seemed on a rush to get nowhere. And a good game from them. And not really related to the game. I think BC actually played really well for their one of their first views. Or one of their first games, their second game. But at the same time, I think it's kind of ironic that Yardy's like proud of losing 7-8. Like on Twitter, he was like, "Oh, we almost beat an established team. This was such a good game for us. I don't want to hear any shit." But then, like, no, you lost. He said that when he beat PB, that 1 second, let me find it.
Up in, I mean, the comms were
ability added to their playstyles. They did a
Sorry, I just want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, so to
Of course,
speak.
obviously there was a bit of roster shuffling going on. So my question to you is, how were comms first time out? Obviously been practicing a little bit together, but was it as clean in game as it was in practice? How'd it go?
Yeah, it was pretty
Yardy.
clean.
I love
We,
Cat,
Parabellum,
dude.
who has 3/5 of the same
Yardy.
for about 20 years. This was our first game ever together, and it was a pretty sloppy game. But at the end of the day, the dogs come out on top, and
Oh, sorry, this was in his post-game interview after they beat Parabellum
I mean, the comms
on Border.
were good.
In my opinion, quite a sloppy game, and they won the map mostly because it was frag heavy, but
I mean, but we got to play a little bit better. We want to do better because PB's bottom of the barrel for a reason. We're not trying to be with them.
Oh, so you don't put a lot of stock in this win then? This isn't a big deal, huh?
A win's a win. That's all I'll
Sure.
say. This was an expected result. Expected.
yeah, so he says that, but then he's still, to me it doesn't make the most sense that he's still proud of losing 7-8 to a good team. Like, if you are a good team, you want to beat other good teams. You shouldn't be proud of just barely losing. You should be like, oh, we should have won because we are a good team. We're on the same level. So those two statements don't make sense to me. But either way, well played from Dark Zero, well played from Beast Coast, and a great game to watch on Villa. And thank you guys for watching my specific cast on this. I'll probably come back next time with some kind of strat breakdown as opposed to in the VOD review, but let me know how much you guys liked the VOD review. You can like and subscribe and all the YouTube bullshit if you did like